What's up, Fumble fam? I'm Brooke.
And I'm Noelle, and you're listening to Girls Don't Fumble, the #1 sports podcast for NFL Girl Talk.
We sift through all the football news so you don't have to.
Let's get into it.
So did you hear that Travis Kelce is fat now?
What?
So Travis Kelce is getting body shamed in the media. He's getting party shamed. He's getting girlfriend and media shamed. The reporters are coming for Travis Kelce.
That's scary. Tell us more.
Nobody is safe in the NFL. Our beloved golden boy, Travis Kelce, America's sweetheart. He's now making waves. He's making headlines because former ESPN analyst Todd McShay called him out in a recent podcast interview, saying that his partying, his jet-setting lifestyle in the offseason has now not left him fit to be a star player in the current season.
Yikes.
Actually saying, and I quote, "Are we not allowed to just say that he's out of shape?"
I mean, is that fair? Because if we do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison of years before to now,
Yeah.
there is a stark difference, a little bit.
There's a little bit of a dad bod coming through,
Yeah.
which would be fine.
Nobody
if-
hates that.
Yeah, if you're performing,
Yeah.
great. No one can talk about your bod. And, as a culture, we've kind of moved away from commenting on people's bodies, which I think is fair and great, especially in the media. You don't know what they're going through.
Body
the one
positive.
exception for that, I do feel like, is professional athletes that are paid millions of dollars to be in shape, and all they do all day is work out and have personal chefs. So I'm like, you can maybe get it a little bit more right and tight.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying it's good that he called him out, but when I did read the articles and see the side-by-sides, as you mentioned, it's like, oof. Oh,
There is a little bit of a difference there.
there's some pounds that have been put on in the off season.
And I will say, I mean, when we're talking about NFL players who their whole job is to be in shape, I guess that makes sense. But again, we're body positive over here. We shouldn't be doing that. And at the same time, I'm like, he was living his life with Miss Taylor.
Yeah.
He had a great summer. They were out and about. So on the other hand, I'm like, you go, Travis.
He's fat and happy.
He's fat
It's
and
like
happy.
he gained the relationship weight, which is the
Yeah.
most relatable thing. And we love that.
And it's like that period during the holidays when you're just like, you just keep eating and like
Yeah.
you're drinking champagne or you're drinking wine and you don't know what
He's
day it
having
is.
fun.
And then all of a sudden he shows up one day, he's on the field and he's like, wait, where did the time go?
He said, "I thought we all had the summer off." And they were like, "No, we were in boot camp all summer." And
We
he
were
said,
working.
I was on the Eras tour in the stands. I was with Miss Taylor. He was in like 7 countries over the summer.
That's wild.
So I agree. Love that Travis is happy. Love that he's living his best life with Taylor. The unfortunate thing is what has sparked all of this backlash is that his performance in the first 3 weeks just has not been stacking up, which there's out of shape dad bod and then there's out of shape not producing in the NFL. So just some quick stats. So far this season, the first 3 games, he's only had 8 receptions for 69 yards, 0 touchdowns. And if you're like, okay, hey, it's just 3 weeks into the season, maybe he hasn't gotten warmed up yet. If you compare that to last season, he had 17 receptions, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that's really similar to his stats the year prior to that as well. So he's really fallen off a cliff here.
Yeah.
And so you're posting these sad stats, the side by side of the dad bod, and you're like, well, you know what? He was jet setting all summer. Just this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, we were talking about coming off of, Thursday night win. He's out with Taylor Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all these events, drinking,
US
having
Open.
fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you do have a game next week. And then you also hear about the same time, Derrick Henry's diet has gone viral over the weekend. He spends $250K on his health per year. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat until 4 or 5 o'clock. And then he doesn't eat any dairy, anything fried, any gluten. Will maybe have an avocado or banana before practice during the regular season. And it's like, that is the standard we're holding our athletes to. Travis Kelce's like, I'm just going to go eat pizza and drink all weekend.
Yeah.
It's not really what you can do in the NFL.
No, it is not. And as we all know, Travis Kelce is skewed a little bit older in terms of players in the
34.
NFL. Not saying that he's old at all. Age is just a number. But I think when you're at that level and at that age, you probably have to work harder than the guy who's 25 and who's in the gym every day. So again, we're not trying to pinpoint what he's doing in his everyday walk of life, but at this point, when you have NFL analysts that are looking at his performance, that's the easiest thing that they can point to is, what are you doing on the weekends? How are you improving? How are you getting better? How are you making sure that you're at least at the same caliber as these young guys who are working their butts off every day to stay in this game as long as they can? Meanwhile, he's partying away at the Eras Tour. But one photo that comes to mind is, I think, from the game against the Falcons. He was sitting on the bench and he's like looking down, looking really sad. And it's just like, it's a photo that has gone around the internet that I've seen a few times. I'm hoping that this isn't how we remember Travis. And I'm sure like every week I'm expecting like he's going to get that first touchdown. And I'm like, okay, it's not this week. It'll be next weekend. It'll be next weekend. And I keep expecting that to happen. And it hasn't yet. I'm sure we'll get it. And the crowd's going to be going insane. I'm sure everybody at home at Arrowhead is going to be excited for that. But hopefully it comes next weekend.
Hopefully it doesn't. They're playing the Chargers.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
that was insane.
Well, they're not playing at Arrowhead, so next time.
Hopefully we don't witness it at SoFi. Fighting words.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to that game, so I'm pro Chargers here. No.
But if we get to witness Travis Kelce's first season touchdown, I hope that's the only touchdown from the Chiefs we witness.
What if Taylor's there? Would that change?
Well, that's the thing, is she wasn't at the Falcons game, and he was looking all sad. His girl wasn't there. It was like, Travis Kelce sucks. Taylor Swift's not at the game and he's fat. It's like, damn, this man was at the top of his game all summer. But I do kind of feel like it was only a matter of time until these criticisms started, because you can't, like, it's just too easy. Like you said, like that he's been so active in the media, and it's like, I don't think, of course, it's like there's obviously the tone that it's blaming that he's dating Taylor, and it's blaming the relationship, which is just wildly unfair, because Taylor is not out of shape. Taylor's at the top of her game. She's performing better than she ever has at Eras Tour. So it's like, clearly it's not anything she's doing. He's letting himself go on his own. Right. But also he's had such a shift in his life, either through dating Taylor or just like because he is such a great personality and has been doing New Heights with Jason, that like they signed the over $100 million deal with Wondery. He was brought on as a host of Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? He's just like risen from football player to like A-list celebrity status in the last course of a year. And it's like, you can't really have both that easily. And I think he's kind of starting to feel he was on this high. He was riding it up and up and up of making the friendship bracelets, going to the Eras Tour, dating Taylor, getting to be on stage. Like, there's so many great things. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. There's no repercussions for that he's spending every weekend with Taylor. Yeah. And I mean, the Chiefs are still 3-0. It's not like the team is tanking. He's doing fine. He's going to get it all back. Hopefully not next weekend. But like, it was only a matter of time, in my opinion, until this comparison started happening, because he's prioritized so much his life outside of the field that the second his numbers aren't looking good, you're immediately going to be like, okay, well, that second job you have, time to quit and come back to football. Yeah.
He's already been a beast, but it would be insane of this beast to go from how he was doing, and then he has all of these like media events, and he's going doing his world tour and all of this, going on television, SNL, and he has his podcast. Like, it was only a matter of time. And I think we're starting to see the repercussions now in his performance. But, I'm sure that he'll maybe have to line a few parties here and there in the future. But obviously the Chiefs are going to be fine. He's going to be fine. And he's going to rock it with the dad bod and all.
He can pull it off.
You can definitely pull it off.
We're, of course, rooting for Travis. We want to see him succeed. We want to see him do well. Yeah. And we don't like that people are talking about his little dad bod.
No.
Leave him alone. Scream.
She doesn't want you here.
Oh, poor Travis.
Yeah, but big ups to our guy.
Big ups to our guy.
Yeah,
our next story. Sorry, do you have something else to say about it?
No, I was just going to say we'll be seeing him in a few days.
See you this weekend,
with Taylor. We'll check out that dad bod ourselves.
Oh, yeah. We'll try to get exclusive footage of the bod from ooh, this angle, not super flattering. Sorry, Travis, we wouldn't do that to you.
No, we love our king. In our next story, not talking about... Well, we are talking about the Chiefs, but this is with a player who was undrafted. He just got signed by the Chiefs, I think last week, right before the game. We're talking about Carson Steele, and somewhat of a lighthearted story. Carson Steele was, again, drafted. This was his first game and his first debut in the NFL with the Chiefs, playing against the Falcons. They had some gaps to fill because there was a really big injury on their for their running backs, Isaiah Pacheco. So they needed a new running back for the week and probably for the weeks to follow. They signed Carson Steele. There's a very sweet story that came out about Carson Steele. He was supposed to be one of the groomsmen in his sister's wedding, and instead, he decided to go and play in his first NFL game ever. And what was really sweet about this was there was some footage of the wedding. They were at a bar and they were playing, they're playing the game on the big screen, and the sister is watching his brother or her brother have a pretty solid game. Let me pull up some stats here. He rushed 17 times for 72 yards. And for your first game in the NFL, that's
great.
Pretty solid. And it was just really great to see. He spoke nothing but, sweet words about his sister, and she was nothing but supportive. Meanwhile, on the other side, she was the same. But he is he's the man of football. He's like, I'm going to choose this time and time again. I'm sad that I'm not there. And he gives her a shout out when he's interviewed at the end of the game. But of course, when you're chasing your dreams, you're going to choose that over and over again. But that was a sweet story to come out of this weekend. But something else that is very unique about Carson Steele is he has a pet alligator.
So cute.
Yeah.
Little alligator friend.
Little alligator friend. I mean, there's a photo that came up. He was probably 10 or 11 years old. He's holding this alligator in his hands. It's probably about 2 to 3 feet long. Now, it's not like a huge 8-foot gator by any means. He's not that big, but it was literally like on the couch, and he's probably like 4 or 5 feet.
Oh, he's
long now.
like a miniature, like a toy alligator.
Yeah. Just like how you see the little mini, I don't know.
Toy poodle, little toy alligator. Little baby.
Yeah, but that was a sweet story. And of course, we love to see these players kind of coming back and having success, even though they're in the middle of the draft and they may have not got picked up by a team. We're in week 3, coming up on week 4 of the NFL, and you get a call from the NFL. You're gonna answer that call.
Yeah.
And he sure did.
He sure
did.
did.
Love to see it.
Yeah. No, I'm so happy that his game went well. And stories like this are what make watching the NFL, I think, so fun. Just getting to know the players and knowing that he is a man of an alligator. He's a man that comes from a great family.
Yeah.
I loved that clip from the wedding where it's just this huge TV, like this huge screen at the wedding, and all the guests are watching it and cheering for him. And I think it's just so big of his sister to not only be like completely understanding that her brother is chasing his dreams, but also to be like, no, like as a sister, I want to watch his NFL debut, and I want this, even though it's the biggest day of my life, it's the biggest day of his life. And she was able to just put her own spotlight as the bride, as she deserved, like her spotlight aside, to be like, let's watch my brother play with the Chiefs and do really well. And I just think those like nice little like heartfelt like family stories are just the reason why we love learning about these players.
Yep.
And we're so excited for his future. As you mentioned, with Isaiah Pacheco out, he might be getting a lot more opportunities to start for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we are very excited for him.
Yeah, we're following along, and we're excited for him.
Maybe he can get Travis into shape.
Yeah, he's like,
One
come run with
positive,
me. I think he was in this year's draft. So he's a youngin', 21, 22 perhaps.
Yeah, he could drink on the weekends and still keep a nice bod. Jealous.
Proud of you, bud.
Proud of you, Carson Steele.
Yeah, but we'll be watching from the sidelines. On our couches, at home.
Yeah, not drinking every weekend without punishment. We feel you, Travis. All right, our third and final off the field gossip story before we get into the actual football of the episode. Moving on to the NFC side of the house, we are talking about Dan Campbell having to list his home for sale in Michigan. So The reason why this story is getting so much news, it's not that he's selling his home to upgrade and get more space and get a nicer house because, he's seeing success of the Lions.
Yeah.
He's actually moving for not so great reasons. And that is that his address was posted online and people have been showing up and harassing him and yelling at him and loitering at the house. And it's been really scary for his family. And so he just listed the house last week, $4.5 million.
Wow.
It's a lot of land in Michigan.
Jeez.
And it came out that his daughter's classmate actually posted their address back in January after the Lions lost to the 49ers in the NFC Championship. So as you can imagine, a lot of people in Detroit, very big Lions fans, very excited about how historic their season was. It was their first time winning the division in 30 years last season. And it was a really, really heartbreaking game against the 49ers. They were up 17 points at halftime, ended up losing by 3 points at the end. So not only is that just not a great look for the coach and for the team, Dan Campbell, if you'll remember, also passed up 2 opportunities on 4th down to just get the easy 3 points with a field goal. He wanted to go for it. So those types of plays are always going for it on 4th down is it's so easy to criticize them if it doesn't work out. But if it does, you're a genius. I hate any sort of Monday morning quarterback criticism of the 4th down, go for it play.
Yeah.
You really can't win. But the classmate had posted basically here's the address, dumb, FUCK, play, trying to make that call or not making the right call. And so this went viral, of course. The address was leaked. Police had to be involved. His security had to be involved. His daughter was so scared. She ended up leaving the house for a period of time. So it's just been brutal. And I think that it's just a darker side of the fame that the NFL brings and also just showcases the pressure that these head coaches are under. We see Dan Campbell as such a beloved coach. People in Michigan seem to just love him and what he's done for the franchise. But there's also the crazies that ruin it for everyone. And now this guy has to, in the middle of the NFL season, move to a whole new house.
Yeah.
And that is shitty.
It sure is. And when you think about it, these fans out here, they're too diehard in some cases. And this is the prime example. When a head coach of an NFL team has to go and uproot his entire family to move because of a loss in the playoffs, which I know is really tough. I mean, the NFL just sometimes has its ups and downs, and this is definitely one of those negative sides that we hate to see, and especially when it's his own daughter. I'm sure for a guy like Dan Campbell, who is such an intense coach already with his team, I'm sure there's such a softer side, but also a very protective side with his daughter and his entire family. So I can only imagine the stress that he had in that moment, and the fact that you have to go and put your house up for sale in the middle of the season when all of your attention is football, and meanwhile you're also worried about the safety of your family. That's tough. And
that's too much to juggle.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle, and our hearts just go out to, not only Dan Campbell and his family, but for any other teams that are getting ridiculed like this. I mean, I don't think in this current state of the NFL, we're not seeing anything at this level. Not yet, at least. But things like this happen, and safety is always number one on and off the field.
Wow. I love that. Safety is number one. We're a safe podcast.
We're safety. Use your condoms.
You heard it here first, fumblers. No one wanted pregnancies. Also, I should say that kid, I don't know. I'm speaking to his parents. You should take away his social media. That's a bad boy.
Seriously. It was a boy that did that?
It was a boy.
Didn't you say it was on Snapchat too?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put that on the broadcast because obviously you guys know that we work at Snapchat. But it is, the destination for young kids. And look at that virality our platform had.
Yeah.
So he posted on his Snapchat story. Nothing better to, take out your aggression and put the head coach on blast than his Snapchat.
I mean, I wonder if the school got involved at that point too. Did they expel him? They should have, because that's crazy.
In an interview I read, and I don't know when this was, if it was right after or it was now once the story is kind of getting more national attention, the kid was interviewed and he thought it was funny. And it was just like, dude, kids are such losers at that age. I don't know
really
how old
don't
he is,
care.
but like when kids are like at the age where like being mean is cool, I'm like,
Yeah.
nothing scares me more than kids who have no just sense of like being kind to people.
Yeah, and can you
so
imagine
scary.
these Gen Alpha kids?
Oh.
Gosh, I
On
don't
our
know
platform. No bullying on Snapchat.
No, or
We're losing-
ever,
yeah,
in
or
school.
ever. Mostly not on Snapchat. We are
Yeah.
a platform of less likes and more love.
Yes.
That's a free ad. Let's move on to the football.
Let's move on to the football. All right. Well, what we're going to do on this episode today is a little different. In previous episodes, at least recently, we've been doing some look backs on the games from the previous weekend. But knowing that we typically release these episodes on Thursdays, we're going to both select a few games ahead of the weekend. And this is week 4 that we're most excited to see. Some of them are in primetime, some of them are not. But we'll kick things off with Thursday night football.
Yes.
Now, Thursday night, we're going to be having the Cowboys versus the Giants. The Giants will be at home. Now, looking high level, both of these teams have the same record. They're both 1-2, which is a little shocking for Cowboys fans. You really see the up and down with the Cowboys. Sometimes, some weeks they're great, sometimes they're bad. And last week was one of those games where we saw them get just defeated by the Ravens. I think the end score after that game was 28-25, but the Ravens had the lead, and they were dominating in that game majority of the time. So when we look at the other side of the ball, we have the Giants, who have been playing behind pretty much the whole season. There's been a lot of conversations about their quarterback, Daniel Jones. And to be honest, it was a little sad because at the beginning of this season, he was kind of the laughingstock of quarterbacks. He was just returning from injury. But he and his entire team, they really proved themselves against the Browns last week. And I think what we have to look forward to in this week is Daniel Jones with connecting with his guy, Malik Neighbors, who we all know. We've talked about him in our draft episode. He was the Giants' first round pick. And he has been such a pleasure to watch. He is pretty much their entire offense at this moment, but he's already broken some records when it comes to rookies. He's also a former LSU footballer. We're big LSU fans over here.
LSU alum.
Something like that. Alum adjacent.
Fan of the alum.
Fan of the alum. He's the first player to have 20 plus catches and over 250 receiving yards in his first 3 games of the NFL, which is really great to see. So really looking forward to seeing that rookie really make a statement against the Cowboys, who typically has been known to have a really good defense, but it just kind of has been lacking recently. And when we look at the Cowboys, I know for their schemes, they've been trying to get their run game going. They have Ezekiel Elliott and their other running back, Rico Doodle. I don't know if that's his last name, but I think where we really want to give the praises to the Cowboys is with their kicker, Brandon Aubrey.
Oh, girl. He is going off for me in my fantasy team.
Oh, you have him?
Auto drafts. It's
Oh,
my
hell
best team
yeah.
was auto drafted. I'm so embarrassed and upset.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
It's
And
so
that's what
defeating
no one
sometimes.
tells you. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the computers are smarter than us.
Yeah.
And
Just
RIP.
wait till you have, I mean, it could be you, but sometimes there are some of those leagues where the auto draft wins the entire championship.
yeah.
And that's usually a tough pill to swallow.
And even though it's me, I don't like it. Like I put so much research into drafting my other teams that are like in last place.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing worse, even though I know more about football. But I'm not going to speak that for our fumblers because we do have good advice. I swear.
We have good advice. And Brandon Aubrey, really great kicker. Maybe you should trade for him.
Yes, he is really great. I don't think he's missed since the beginning of the season. Of
course not.
He's had he set the Cowboys record for a 65-yarder.
Insane.
65 yards.
The
I'm
field
sorry.
goals are getting like longer and longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
Like, how is he even in the position? Like, who makes that call? Like, oh, let's set him up for 65 yards.
Yeah.
You're on the other side of the field. You're not in field goal range at all.
No, let's put them just basically by next year. They're going to be in the landing zone
end
of the
zone.
other side.
Yeah.
in the end
Oh
zone.
my God. And for those of you guys who don't know, Brandon Aubrey does not have a football background. I think we've talked about him on the podcast. He has a soccer background and then worked in finance.
Looks like looks like we got to get some more soccer players.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of soccer players are seeing his success, probably making a good amount of money and be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's crazy, but we're looking forward to that game. The Cowboys are looking to win and try to get to their third NFC East. Yes, NFC East title, their third in 4 years. Meanwhile, the Giants are just trying to get their second win. I believe the last time the Giants have won the NFC East title was back in 2011. So they have a lot of catching up to do, but here's the thing about football. Some players, they just look week to week, and that's all you can do. So we're looking forward to that. If you had to guess, Cowboys or Giants?
Oh my God. Here's the thing is like, if you had, before the season started, told me, hey, there's a week 4 Cowboys and Giants game we're going to be talking about, I'd be like, why are we talking about it? The Cowboys are going to beat them so badly. I don't know why they put this in prime time. Because as you mentioned, heading into the season, Daniel Jones, a lot of Giants fans very disappointed they haven't moved on from him.
Yeah.
So the NFL has been so full of surprises these first 3 weeks. So many fun stories. It will be so embarrassing for the Cowboys if they lose to the Giants. But I'm going to say the Giants. Because I'm here for an upset.
I love
Just
that.
going for the teams that are favored to win hasn't been working out so far.
No.
So I think Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors, they are playing at home. They're going to be hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys historically have done so much better at their home field, not this season so far.
Yep.
So they're looking for a win on the road to avoid going 1-3. And I don't know. I'm going with the Giants.
I love that.
What do you think?
If I had to choose, I guess I'm going to go Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a smart choice.
And the reason why is I always want to go for the underdogs. Here's the thing. So I don't blame you for
Rooting
that.
for
But
them.
there was a stat that I read and it said Dak Prescott has won 12 consecutive games against the Giants.
I didn't know about that stat when I placed my bet.
Yeah, but it's okay. We're not placing bets. We're just
No worries.
Yeah, we're just shooting the shit.
You can't take my money that easy.
Yeah. We don't have what's it called? FanDuel or
No, we don't. And we're not going to give you
what's-
guys advice on that either.
No, not yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe later.
Maybe one day.
All right, well, we'll tune in on Thursday or whenever you listen to this episode. Hopefully you're tuning in Thursday right on time. Excited for tonight.
Excited.
All right. The second game we are excited to watch this season. We are heading to the NFC North for a face-off between the Vikings and the Packers.
Woo.
Now, I'm really excited for this game. The Packers are 2-1. Vikings are currently undefeated at 3-0. So everyone has their eyes on the Vikings. They are looking really, really solid this year. I guess I'll start with them. The Vikings 3-0. The big story here is, of course, Sam Darnold is the quarterback that no one really had a ton of faith in going in to this season. The Vikings lost Kirk Cousins to an Achilles injury early on last season. And then obviously Kirk Cousins has now been signed with the Falcons. And I think it had a lot of Vikings fans very stressed out of who's our quarterback going to be. Enter Sam Darnold. So this lovely man, he's a California boy, went to San Clemente High School, was a quarterback at USC. So he's a local man to us. Now finding himself in Minnesota. Back in 2018, he was drafted 3rd overall to the Jets, where he played for, I believe, 2 or 3 seasons. Really did not do well. The Jets were not a fan of him. Traded him off to the Panthers, which not a good place for a quarterback to be. Didn't do great there. He went to the 49ers as a backup and then signed with the Vikings just this year in 2024. So the Vikings, as you guys may have heard in our episodes, they also drafted a rookie quarterback. I want to say 10th, 12th overall, around the 10th spot. They got JJ McCarthy coming out of University of Michigan. And there was a lot of speculation that they were going to be starting the young quarterback, but they had made it clear even before JJ McCarthy ends up getting injured in the preseason that Sam Darnold was the guy that was going to start. Clearly that was the right decision because he has been absolutely killing it. And then they are on the other side of the ball looking to face off against the Packers. We're unsure of who the quarterback will be in week 4. Jordan Love was injured week 1 in Brazil against the Eagles, really devastating in the very last minutes of the game. Has been out for The last 2 games, Malik Willis, the backup quarterback, has surprisingly won 2 games. I think a lot of Packers fans were really worried when their guy was injured week 1. Malik Willis has been doing great. And the Packers are favored to win this, which is crazy considering they got their backup QB and the Vikings are undefeated.
That is
feelings.
Oh,
Crazy.
man. I actually didn't realize that they were favored.
No, I was surprised. I would have thought that everyone's like, obviously the Vikings are going to continue their dominance. They've looked flawless this season.
Yeah.
People are now saying Vikings Super Bowl, but apparently as of Tuesday night, the Packers are the team favored to win.
Yeah, I feel like there's 2 storylines coming out of that game, and the first is Sam Darnold is a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. And then on the other side, I've been kind of peeking into some of the games that the Packers games here and there, but I think their defense is really kind of like taking the media by storm, and that's why I think so many people have so much faith in them, and clearly the sports books are saying that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this will be a good face-off. I'm pretty sure that they're a pretty big rivalry already. So
just being in the same division.
Yes. So that'll be a good divisional face-off that we're looking forward to seeing. And another story with I will talk about Sam Darnold a little bit because he has been in the NFL for quite some time, right? And I think since 2018, he was drafted by the Jets, and he was played for the Rams for a little bit and played kind of like hopped around from teams here and there. And he never really found his groove. I think he was solid. I think he played for the Panthers and then the Rams, maybe one other team after that.
It was Panthers, 49ers for sure. I didn't see Rams, but maybe.
Yeah.
He was everywhere.
Yeah. He was hopping around. He was one of those quarterbacks where he's solid, but he didn't really like find his home. And not saying I'm not speaking for the Vikings, but he's doing really great right now. To start some or to kind of reiterate some gossip that happened online. Bill Belichick was talking to Pat McAfee, and he was talking about Sam Darnold and how he's had a pretty good relationship with all of the teams that he's played on. And he made a comment. He said, it seemed like the only people who didn't like Sam was the Jets.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was
That's
there
really
for maybe
sad.
2 or 3 years, and then he was traded to the Panthers, I think, right after that.
Yeah.
But he was like, if you ask all of the head coaches at all the teams that he was playing on, they all liked him, but they didn't like him enough, I guess.
Yeah, they liked him and they let him go.
Yeah, it's like,
this poor
why are you
man
being
has been
fake?
everywhere. And I really would love to know why the Jets didn't like him. Do we know if Robert Saleh was the head coach back then, or was it someone else? I don't know how long he's been the head coach. I'll Google it.
2018?
You know what? Let's get you guys the facts. Jets coaches.
I want to say yes, but he's young and fine.
He is definitely on our hot coaches list. Okay, this doesn't help. It's just a list of their coaches.
Yeah.
I need Google to be better about giving me the information I need. Oh, not starting back in 1960, please. Oh, okay.
my gosh.
Robert Saleh just started coaching in 2021.
Oh, sick.
So when he was drafted, Todd Bowles was the coach, and then Adam Gase. Okay.
Yeah,
but now we got Robert Saleh. So
going through head coaches a lot.
I know. Jets, you guys good?
Yeah, you guys all right?
Quarterbacks?
We love it.
But I love that gossip. And I love that Bill Belichick.
Of all people, spreading rumors and tea.
He's literally not unemployed, dating a 25-year-old and gossiping about the other teams in the league. Like, he's such a silly goose right now. He's so unhinged.
I don't think he realizes like anything that he says, people will
That's
just
a headline.
Yeah, it's a headline. Anytime he speaks or he smiles, even people
so
love to
funny.
see a reaction or anything from him. So we love
he's
it.
been all over the place. Like, he is making sure he is gone but not forgotten in terms of his presence in the NFL. He's not going anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back for another coaching gig next year. Like, he's staying fresh, he's staying relevant, he's staying knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And he stays stirring the pot. Thank you, Bill, for the gossip.
Thank you. They can never make me hate him.
No, they got it. He's so funny. Not as hot as Robert, but
Yeah. I mean, unless there was some scandalous stuff. Right now, he's dating a young girl.
don't they
Who
all?
isn't?
Who
Yeah.
isn't?
Who fucking isn't at this
What
point?
are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Call the police.
Whoop, whoop.
Another 25-year-old. Don't tell Leo. All right. Anyways, moving on.
All right, let's get to our last exciting game of the week.
Yes.
We're heading back over to the AFC side where we have a big showdown with the Ravens versus the Bills. Ooh. And I'm very excited about this because I follow the Ravens quite a bit. I follow the Bills a lot because, of course, they're AFC, not fam, but, you know, they're in the same division and all. But I want to start off with the Bills because we have seen Josh Allen just become a complete beast this season. The Bills are right now 3-0. They haven't lost. He's already breaking his own records with the amount of touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns in the first 30 minutes of last week's game. So it seems
crazy.
Like, you know, all of the news outlets are saying that this year it looks different for the Bills, and they always say that with the Bills, and then they go to the playoffs, and then unfortunately they meet their fate. But this year could be different. Their defense is looking good. Stephon Diggs is no longer on the team, and he was a big part of the offense, and I think there were a lot of questions about who will be filling some of those gaps. They got rookies like Keon Coleman stepping in, Shakur, I'm not saying his name right. I don't know. I'm blanking on his name. It's really late, guys. And they have a lot of weapons, or Josh Allen does, and he just does not miss. I don't think he's thrown an interception since the season has started. So he's just looking really good. Let's hope he continues that. Now, when we look on the Ravens side of the ball, they're actually 1-2. They had their first win against the Cowboys, and that was a big statement, knowing that they were on the road and they were in Dallas, and the Cowboys never lose when they're at home, but the Ravens really did it. And in those first 2 weeks of Ravens football, it just wasn't looking like the team was really connecting. The defense is normally really solid, and while they looked okay, they were just not as strong as they used to be. And I think this year they lost their defensive coordinator. Yeah. They had actually a lot of players on the offense and the defensive side that have gone to other teams. Some of them have gone to the Chargers, to his brother, right? So here's the thing. I do believe in Lamar Jackson, and I think if we're taking Patrick Mahomes out of the equation, which I don't even know if I would consider him the best quarterback in the league, I would look at Lamar Jackson and I'd look at Josh Allen. And they're going to be facing off. We know that Lamar likes to run around, and actually so does Josh Allen. So it's going to be a really exciting game. I always love watching them play. I'm sure that they're going to be really stepping up to the plate for this one.
Yeah, big game for the fantasy QBs. I feel like those are QB 1 and 2 of fantasy football with how much they like to run the ball. Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year. Josh Allen, I mean, it's obviously way too early to call heading into week 4. People are saying he's the MVP. Like, it's been 3 weeks, but like if you ended the season today, Josh Allen would probably be the MVP of the season. And you just love to see Josh Allen succeed. He has such a good story of he played in high school, didn't get into any colleges for football. He wrote like hundreds and hundreds of emails to coaches with his tapes. He's now actually in a Nike ad where he's kind of like telling that story of just like, don't lose hope. Like, here's how many coaches I reached out to, begging them to watch my tapes.
I love that.
And he obviously succeeded, and he didn't give up. And you know, you just gotta do it. So that's why he's the face of Nike. And it's going to be a really big showdown. The Ravens, as you mentioned, had a much slower start to the season than we had anticipated, especially seeing their success last year. Yeah. So this will be a big game. Is this Monday Night Football?
I think it's Sunday.
Oh, Sunday
night.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely play on Sunday. And one stat that I do want to share heading into this week, the Bills lead the NFL in scoring, which totally makes sense. I feel like after every game, in this last game, Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns. And I think last week in week 2, he had a little bit of a lull, but they're continuously putting up points. So the Ravens are going to have to keep up with that. But meanwhile, the Ravens have kind of not really met that. The Ravens have given up 16. I don't really know what the stat is. Oh, I see. Sorry.
Reading your own notes.
I know. Like, what is this chicken scratch? So let me go back. The Bills have given up 4 pass plays for over 20 plus yards, while the Ravens have given up 16, which is the most in the NFL.
Oh, so they are basically just letting the other offenses just run through them,
Yes.
where the Bills defense is not giving up any big plays.
Yeah, which is surprising because if we were to go back in time to last year, it was probably like the complete opposite stats. So it looks like the Ravens do have to really step it up in this game. Meanwhile, the Bills just need to keep being them.
Yeah. What are your predictions for winners and losers of the game?
Oof. I should have had this ready. I do want to see the Ravens lose to the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because the Ravens are AFC North rivals and misery loves company. We need more losses.
Yeah, I feel
in
that.
our division right
I'll
now.
cheer for the Bills as well.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that. But Josh Allen's looking really solid. He's looking like a stud.
You love to see it.
We love it.
What about Vikings Packers? We didn't give our predictions for that game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we did not. I'm going to go for the Vikings. Yeah, let's bet against all those sports books.
Yeah, should we put money on it? No, we shouldn't. We would jinx them immediately and lose all our money.
Yeah.
I will agree with you. I'll go with the Vikings. I like this early season of dominance for them. And the NFC North is such a tough division. They also have the Lions to worry about. So, if they come out on top, it's bad news. Bears, who are also in their division, for the Lions.
Wow.
See if
Way
I
to
can
bring
name
that
every
around.
single. They're gonna have to pack up their things. Okay, I'm done.
I love that.
So
That's good.
We're very excited for this weekend.
Woo.
Let us know what you guys think about the game previews versus the game recaps. Is this maybe more timely? Are you guys over week 3 by the time we've released this? You're already looking ahead to week 4. So we love to speculate and then we'll see what happens. We're excited for this weekend.
Yes, give us all the feedback. We love it.
Yeah. Engage in our stuff, comment.
We're a grassroots festival. I keep saying festival. That's the third time. I just want to be at a festival, I think. Yeah. I'm ready to go. Grassroots podcast.
Grassroots podcast, building from the ground up. And I do think we continue to use grassroots incorrectly. We won't stop. That's who we are. Girls Don't Fumble, Grassroots podcast.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we'll talk to you next week.
See you next time.
Bye.